So, the continued quest of trying to get a working Tenstar games pack, the one I originally repurchased and picked up in 2019, they're all crusty, don't work. If you're watching last week, you'd have found that the 7 replacements that I bought have been a good step towards getting a working set, but these two don't work, and ironically, Mercenary is one of my all-time favourite games. Pteropods, really not too fussed about. And the reason why, you can see the reflection of a selfie light in the corner there. Annoying most of the time, but hopefully that's going to help us, or at least help me show you what we're dealing with and why I didn't even put these discs in a drive when I looked at them. So, some tools to help us today. One of these 3D printed disc caddies. That just helps you turn the disc and keep the thing open. And obviously for cleaning, microfiber cloth and some ISO. So looking at the disc, basically, you know, discs are black and they're shiny. That's what you're looking for. And that should be a consistent black. If I turn this one, because you'll notice it more when I turn it, and I'm going to try and get the light on it. Let's really try and focus in here. I'm hoping you're going to see that. I think you're going to be able to see that on the camera this time. Get a bit closer. There is a lot of mottling, a lot of discoloration, and that's probably mould from what I'm led to believe. But the good thing is, usually there's some crustiness, if it's a really bad disc, there'll be some resistance in the turning. I'm not getting any of that, so that's actually a good sign, but that discoloration is a very, very bad sign, and that will be on both sides. So I'll show you my method with one disc. I'm actually tempted, so that I don't have to do Mercenary on camera, I'm actually going to do Pteropods instead on camera, because I don't care as much about it. And again, this is a yellow printed disc. I'm a bit dubious about the fact that it's a Memorex disc, might not even be an original anyway. I don't care, but this one's in the same condition. So again, putting it in the caddy. Okay, and I've already shown you what it looks like on the other one, but just to turn it on this one, you can see the before of that discoloration. So here's the method. Some people will scrub them with cotton buds. I've tried that and I found it more destructive. So my method is you basically get the microfiber, squirt some ISO where your finger and thumb are going to go, and then you literally, this is why you got the caddy, with the ISO on there, you're going to pinch your finger and thumb, and you can do both sides at once this way as well, and you're just going to rub it up and down basically to try and clean that off. I haven't put the ISO on yet. And then you use the little knob to turn the disc as you go. I don't recommend pinching and turning because these discs are old and you're applying some alcohol in there as well. I think that's when the glue that actually holds the platter in place on this metal disc can come away, and that's what happened to my Barbarian disc. Is it came away. Now it may have been coming away anyway, but certainly the process of trying to clean it finished it off. So it was more destructive than it was helpful. Let's do some ISO. Don't want to go crazy. I'd rather reapply than soak it and have that ISO run into that glue inside, like I just said. Going to make sure it's the wet bits that are on the disc itself. It feels wrong because we're always told as kids to not touch the disc, right? Well, you want to clean it, you're going to have to. Okay, you're not going to be able to tell straight away what difference you're making, and you can need several passes. So I'm actually loosening my pinch, but I just want to turn it, and you can use that little notch on this to determine when you've done a full rotation, obviously, and determine how much of a rotation you've done between strokes. It's starting to sound dodgy. Because obviously what you want to do is make sure you're cleaning all of the disc. That's the process. I'm not going to bore you with cleaning an entire disc. I'm going to do this disc, this one first as a practice, then I'll do Mercenary, and then I'll show you the after, and then we'll test them. And there's a trick to how I'm going to do that as well. Okay, so this first disc is well, I've cleaned it and I've done a couple of rotations. When I turn it, and again, trying to capture this. Now what's going to happen is, because all the ISO hasn't necessarily dissolved or evaporated, sorry. So you will sometimes see that streaking like that, but then you can watch it dissolve. So you might want to turn it. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing much improvement. I'm going to keep going. But I'm really not seeing much improvement. I'm actually seeing that mottling remain. That hasn't touched it yet. The mottling's still there. So I want to show you my next secret weapon. So, excuse the mess, and behold my secret weapon. So, obviously Amiga drives are getting harder and harder to replace. So I don't want to stick potentially damaging mouldy covered discs inside my Amiga drive. I'm very particular about that, which is why I check every game visually before I put it in the drive. Now what I'm hoping is that those mottling spots, if they're not coming off with ISO, are they going to come off at all? But before I do test them in the drive, I want to basically listen to the health of these two discs. Just listen to how they spin up. Now a PC can't read an Amiga disc, but it will at least try and spin it up, and that allows me to listen to the quality of what we're dealing with. Let's give it a go. Okay, so first disc going in the drive is obviously not a legitimate version, but it's a Gunship 2000 for the PC, and that will be able to be read. No nasty noises, squeaky clean, and a directory listing came up. Take that out. And next I'm going to put in pteropods. Of course it's not going to be able to read the directory, but it will give it a go. It will spin the disk up. Let's have a listen. Now I'm going to move you closer in case you couldn't quite hear that, but it was horrible squeaky noises, horrible gritty noises. Get you nice and close because the microphone's on the camera. Here we go. I am not happy to put that disc in my Amiga. Let's try Mercenary. And once again from close up. Those, in my book, really don't sound healthy. Okay, so look, I would not put either of these discs in my Amiga drive. They've clearly got mold issues or, you know, whatever on the surface. You can see it and you can hear that these don't spin up freely in a drive. They squeak, they grind. Not happy. They're not going in an Amiga that I own. But I want to... the other thing you could do is go to the hassle of, you know, splitting a disc apart. This is my bad copy of Barbarian. Not the one you gave me, Rich, the one I had before. But, you know, if you look at replacing the platter, then the potential is that your original disc with those cloths inserts inside the disc, they're potentially contaminated anyway. So you're just going to recontaminate a good platter inside the original disc. So do you know what? I don't think there's anything wrong. For me, the nostalgia is the box art. Okay, as long as you haven't been stiffed by an eBay seller, obviously, who said stuff was tested and working, which wasn't the case with these. Nothing wrong with having the box art for the nostalgia on the shelf. And inside that, for me, this is where I'm at anyway. Having the original disc for preservation, but also having a backup copy. Doesn't matter how dodgy. In fact, some of these, and I think this is one of them, it doesn't even have a crack tray. So I've got that nostalgia experience through the box art, and I've got the tactile nostalgia experience of putting a disc in the drive to load the game up. And even beyond that, I'm now at the stage in my collecting and my reliving these memories where I'm quite happy to have the box art on the shelf and the ability to easily load them off something like a compact flash card with WHD load, or even a GoTech drive or a GoX drive, or even in emulation. Okay, that's where I'm at. And in fact, for people starting to get back into things like the Amiga, and now I'm sort of echoing what I heard people like Dan Wood say when I first got back into this hobby. They were already that far, you know, ahead of the journey, and they were already saying it's a bit hard to keep discs working these days, and you really should, you know, or you really could move on to using a GoTech drive or a compact flash card with WHD load solution. That's where I'm at now. Doesn't diminish the experience. I can look at the box on the shelf and they always look great, and I can just fire this up and look for the game I want to play that day. And that, for me, is equally valid. Thank you for watching. I forgot to press record. That's Pteropods in the A1200. Because curiosity got the better of me. I don't care as much about my A1200 drive as I do the one in the A500. That's one hell of a bad disc.